Peace, family. So we back with another one. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to my chosen ones about how you are the mirror in their life. The way you walk your life is reflective of all the things that they are not doing. This is like a tough one to touch base on because for a lot of us over here on this side of the spectrum, we just be walking our everyday life. We be going through our everyday routines, our regular rituals that kind of help keep our spirits up in a higher vibration and frequency that allows us to be in a more peaceful state. Things that allow us to stay fruitful in a mind, spirit full of abundance. A lot of the things that we do just naturally rubs people the wrong way. And for a lot of us, it took for us to transition into the phases where we are today for us to realize we're basically a walking mirror. You don't have to be perfect to be a walking mirror in someone's life. Just the things you do and how you carry yourself can be reflective to the people around you. See, when you doing things that are putting you in a better vibration and frequency or sustaining you in a better vibration and frequency, because some of us are already there and we're just sustaining if we aren't in that day of elevation. A lot of these things rub people the wrong way, and it makes it difficult wanting to engage with people on just the basic levels of life outside of solely surface level subjects. I was engaging with somebody recently, and I was just talking about how the past year or so I had fell off from my workouts just due to dealing with real life, some things that I forgot to take care of that was now piling on me, and also with the attacks that were beating me upside the head. So there was like a good strong year where my workout wasn't as consistent as it normally is. But me speaking life back into myself and saying that, all right, I got a couple of these T's crossed, a couple of these I's dotted. I want to start taking on some of the tasks that I pushed to the side, and I want to put them back up to the forefront. Me just being me, not even really processing how the other person may engage it, because we was just carrying on the conversation. I could see them sinking into this lower level space than what they may have already been in. Now, because we create the energy and vibration, I don't want to say we create the energy. We harness the vibration. So if you in a low space and you step outside, we're actually harnessing and pulling energy from nature. We're not creating the energy from scratch. And we recharge ourselves when we, travel, nap, or sleep. I just call it travel because we spend more time in our spirit world. So that's actually the first place we are in, is our spiritual being state. This physical realm is a reflection of everything inwardly. We already know these things. But me talking about these things out loud and then just pulling myself up into a better space to make myself become more disciplined back in those areas, because I don't really care for motivation. Motivation is like secondary to discipline. We're gonna find ourselves doing a lot of things that we don't want to do, and you won't be motivated for it all the time. But if you have the discipline, you're still gonna make sure you get these things done. And as soon as I started talking about it, it almost was like this guilty feeling was passing through my vessel. And it's like, I'm speaking of something healthy. I'm speaking of life. I'm thinking of wellness. I'm thinking longevity. And me just speaking these things out loud about myself that I want to get into, because the other being that may be around is in a unhealthy space, or they may not be as happy with their vessel as they could be. It's like this whole insecurity vibration gets pushed out into the universe, to the point to where I'm communicating out loud. You know, sometimes I don't always care for an immediate response. I done been around so many demons. Sometimes I'll get to a space where I just need to speak certain things out loud in the presence of another vessel. It gives me a little bit more oomph. You know, it doesn't motivate me, doesn't give me a little bit more push, but what it does is it allows there to be a physical witness to me manifesting these words out loud. So it makes me have to stand on it more. And it's crazy to me, because it's so many people out here that's living unhealthy that don't want to get to a healthier space. And me speaking of doing things that will put my health first, you know, which will cause me to be able to live possibly a longer life if the system doesn't do what it does. You know, it's mind-blowing to me that this rubs the other people the wrong way. You know, especially if you're a robot in the middle, you're not fully on demon time, you're just in the middle, like you just follow whoever's in charge at the time. It's like, it's things you can do about it to fix it yourself too. So it's like, if predominantly society is fat, do the healthy people just not talk about getting themselves into a healthier state because we're surrounded by a bunch of fat people? Like, this stuff always blows my mind. And the thing with it is like, you could get your fat ass up and work out beside me in the same vicinity as me, or you could take this as inspiration, me talking about the things that I need to do within myself, so that way I'm, you know, projecting a better vibration outwardly. You could do the same thing in your own space, but instead of them stepping up and standing into that space, they would rather do the opposite. When you have people who are on the physical unhealthy side, and there's people that you care about, and you just watching them deteriorate, but you don't want to talk about the healthy things that you have been doing so that way you can stay healthy, you kind of lose empathy and sympathy for them. It's no reason why, if it's kind of like, if I choose to drink alcohol, sort of, I don't, but just for example, say I choose to drink alcohol, I love drinking alcohol, this is what I want to do all the time, every day on my free time, and my other buddy wants to quit, or they have quit drinking, and they start talking about all the steps that they're going to take when they stop drinking, and, you know, all the things that they're going to put in place so that way they don't go back to drinking. Why would I project a vibration to make them feel less than because they want to better their life? If I want to keep drinking and doing that, that's on me if I want to do that. But people who are moving or trying to say that they're moving in a godly vibration, I'm getting so burnt out with a lot of people claiming they in the middle and they moving in a, you know, they talk to God and the creator and all this shit, but your walk of life doesn't show that that's the deity, the entity, the vibration that you are communicating with. I done had so many people come across saying, yeah, well, I talked to God, or God told me this, and God told me that, the creator told me this, the creator told me that. And the whole time, when you look at their walk of life, it's not reflective to them having any connection with creator and source. You still putting the dollar bill before your health, your wealth, and your walk of life. you are still putting the dollar bill before your health, wealth, and walk of life. All of these things matter. I had mentioned that along with my workout process, like, I'm going to start fasting again. Instead of taking supplements, why not just be more disciplined in what I am choosing to put in my body? Between discipline, fasting, and working out, these three combinations, you will get yourself exactly where you need to be much faster at a more elevated rate than you would if you said, all right, well, I'm going to work out a lot of days, but I'm going to still eat what I want to eat. Or you do that other thing where it's like, okay, well, I'm only going to eat whatever the fuck healthy is these days because I'm in the States. Everything has been compromised. I'm going to only eat healthy stuff, but I'm not going to work out. You know, maybe I'll take a walk here and there. That's still an extremely slow process. You can do it however you want to do it. My thing is, when I'm speaking love and life into myself and you in my vibration, I shouldn't have this big wave of guilt passing through me because this is naturally how I feel. This is the genuine vibration that I choose to project and put out. It's very hard for a lot of these beings to look at themselves in the mirror. It's like, a lot of it we could say is mean, but at the same time, a lot of it is just straightforward and honesty. Like, you could have the biggest heart in the world, right? But if I put this much work and discipline into myself to make sure that my health and wealth is up to par and you don't do the same, don't ever think that you will have access to me on the levels in your spirit world, where you feel like you should be placed at. I don't give a damn how much time you spend with me. Your health and your wealth is not your main concern the way it is mine. It's really that simple. It don't have to be any bad blood there, but I wouldn't move you up in the chapter, in the charts, in the levels, the vibrations, frequencies, whatever, the plateaus, whatever you may call it. I wouldn't move you up or around in those spaces. Like, just being realistic about it. You cannot have someone who processes like me, who's constantly trying to figure out ways to keep the vibration high, to make sure I keep my health and wealth first, next to somebody who put these last into the back burner. That means I can be cool, we can be friends, we can be in all those different things. But don't expect to be a girlfriend, don't expect to be a wife, don't expect any of these things. Because when I go out in public, or if I take you out in public, you're a reflection of me. So then what does that says about all the work that I've been putting in on myself? If I were to see that outside of me, I would think that, okay, that guy got some insecurities he's working on. Why the hell is he putting his health and wealth first and the other person just isn't concerned with it? I don't care what they do in those departments. If they choose not to work out, if you choose not to fast or doing these things, if you don't give a fuck about your health, cool. That's not the issue. The issue is how there's a lot of unhealthy people out here. And if you are of the healthy culture, or the healthier culture, you know, because it takes a lot of discipline to stay healthy in this weird ass society. If you taking all of these steps to maintain your health and your wealth, then you shouldn't feel guilty for wanting to better your life and your health. I don't understand why this is so difficult for other beings outside of them just being demonic, lazy, and whatever title you want to put on it. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of titles you can list down on that thing. It's the same way with people who say that they're, oh yeah, I really follow the Creator. I really follow God. You know, I speak to the Most High. Your life isn't reflecting of it. And when I speak of God and the Creator and the Most High, a lot of people, when they're in my physical presence, they don't match my vibration. They'll say these things over the phone, you know, they'll do different little things like send little video clips and stuff, but when it comes to actually engaging about it, they're silent. It's almost like a silent rejection of Creator and Source. What somebody and how someone spends their time when they're not around you shows you where their energy is focused at. What and how they spend their time and energy on or doing shows you where their vibration is at when they are not in your vicinity. If the people out here is going to catch this mirror when they step into my presence and they see that, okay, yeah, this nigga do got a lot of godly music. You know, this nigga do mention God and the Most High and the Creator a lot. Man, I do see him working on his health. I've literally sat here and watched the man work out. I've literally sat there and watched the man fast. It doesn't have to be, oh, I don't eat for 24 hours. The way I do my fast is I eat kind of like Islam. You know, when the sun is down, I'll eat me something slight. When the sun is up throughout the day, I just take in my liquids, my waters, my teas, my lemonades. I like my liquids. I take in these liquids throughout the day. When the sun goes back down, then I may allow myself to eat a little bit more. But I never even eat till I'm full. I don't eat till I'm full. I don't like the feeling of being too full and too lazy and too stuck down in my seat wherever I'm at because I decided to eat too much. And it's weird when people eat till they full and then they still don't even work out. And then you still in their space and it's like, oh my God, like, long as things is understood that, okay, that's your walk, this is my walk, you know, we'll meet somewhere. I'll come down and meet you somewhere so that way we can communicate, engage, but we're not gonna intertwine these worlds the way that you feel like they should be intertwined. It's difficult. It's really difficult because sometimes you just want to be you around other people and not have to worry about all the in-between lines while you communicate and engaging or just hanging out with people. But I've been around people and started off a conversation surface level, had the right godly conversations on my side, but it was presented at the wrong time on their side. And now it's this whole weird, awkward, chaotic vibration in between us. We're not gonna be able to walk this way of life and be beating ourselves down for being solid in this walk of life and being a mirror to these other beings out here. Most of us didn't even realize we was a mirror. You just knew that you would hang out with some people, it would seem like it's really good and cool, and then they just disappear or ghost. Or it be some weird engagement where they had an issue, you didn't know it was an issue, and now it's this separation all over again. This is when I get to those points where I don't even want to share no godly information with these beings, because I understand that if you're not willing to walk this way of life, then you taking this information to restructure your mask so you can blend yourself back out here with society and do whatever else damage that you've been doing to other people before I came across your path. A lot of people don't like to hear the truth and honesty of what we actually have to experience and what's actually going through or what's going on. We feel as though, oh, because you cannot see my feelings on the inside, you cannot see my thoughts on the inside, that you don't know. Some of us still know, especially if you're over on this spectrum. We don't need you to say everything out loud to know where you're at in the spiritual realm. We don't need you to do a bunch of things all the time to know where you're at in the spiritual realm. You don't get this kind of access until you've been walking this way of life for a while, until you start leveling up in the spiritual realm. And as you level up in the spiritual realm, it's going to be a lot less people trying to beat you down, and it's going to be a lot more people doing all kind of different subtle manipulation tactics on you. 1 minute they say they at the house not doing anything. They're texting you. You ask the wrong question or say the wrong statement. They may not respond back to you for hours later down the line, but they was just in the house not doing anything. It's all manipulation tactics because they don't want to reflect and look at themselves. And even the ones that do try to look at themselves, they don't like what they see, so they get the fuck away from it. They don't like what they see, so they try to get away from it. The only problem is when you have beings like us in your life, there is no escaping it. You don't get away. When you look at us, you see the reflection. Oh shit, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. I could be doing this better. I could be doing that better. I should be working on this. I should have been working on that. These things is what they have to deal with when they constantly are in our presence. And they don't want to take the steps because it's too hard. I had one person tell me we had met somewhere, and my daughter got to play with their little ones and stuff at a park. And after they was running around playing and doing their thing or whatever, the next day they was like, I'm so sore. You sore from playing at the park because you are inactive. Like, this doesn't make sense. How do you want to be a better being for your children, but you aren't working on expanding your lifeline? Like, it's not about just being big. It's about your health and everything that come with it. So yeah, you may be 20, 30 on the plus side and it hasn't started hitting you yet, but it probably will when you start getting 40, 50, 60. Now you taking a whole lot more trips at the doctor's office. They got you on all kind of prescription pills. You know what I mean? Now you done already damaged your body so much that it's making it difficult for you to want to take the healthy steps to better your way of life. You know what I mean? So all of these things play a huge factor as far as what we got going on and what we doing. So fortunately and unfortunately, you are the walking mirror. It'll be to the point to where you can bump into strangers and they'll just show disgust with you, just on the strength that they like a lot of qualities about you and they don't have these certain qualities about them. And it's not like they cannot access or do these things. They can, but they choose not to. It's just mind-blowing how it operates out here, you know what I mean? And it's always gonna be a bunch of inconsideration, all of these things, all of the above. So I would just keep these things in mind when you out here operating in this society right now. Like, just understand that you are a reflection of this. You are a reflection of, you know, God's way of life. You are a reflection of improvement. You are a reflection of what it means to walk in a healthy light. It don't have to be perfect. It just have to be better than yesterday. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be better than yesterday. If you ate 2 cheeseburgers today, then tomorrow you should only eat 1 cheeseburger. Then the following day after that, you should maybe only eat a half. Whatever. I don't give a damn how you do it. The next day should be better than the previous day prior. And that's really where we should be at right now. And don't be casting your pearls among swine, because a lot of these people is going to show you that you're wasting your time and energy. When they want to fast, if they want to diet, if they want to start working out, they will. If they really want to find a real connection with source and creator, they will. I heard somebody complaining about, two girls talking about, one of the girls, guys that she's dealing with. And it's like, why waste all your time talking about this guy? First thing I do is ask, do he have a connection with creator and source? No, he doesn't. Oh, okay, so that's already showing you that you're gonna be dealing with a lot of weird mixed emotions and confusion and chaos. No connection with source, that's gonna equal chaos and confusion. Connection with source is gonna equal clarity. Clarity. It's gonna be a lot more honesty. Even if somebody does decide to say, okay, well, I wanna have more partners. If you're doing it at the door, that's different than being sneaky and manipulative in the process. You're giving the other person the choice, the option to say, hey, okay, well, they may deal with other people. I don't want to do that. And they step out the way. You may be honest and drop it on the table for some people, and they be like, all right, cool, I appreciate the honesty. Now you don't have any chaos and confusion in between the lines, because you've already explained the situation and circumstances, and it's understood. Don't beat yourself up over people just having weird vibrations with you, because you are reflective of all the things that they aren't doing. They be like, oh, yeah, you're a mirror. You're holding up a mirror. Yeah, I'm not holding it up. I just am the mirror to the people who aren't walking the way of life that they say they want to walk or that they should be walking. I don't have a mirror plastered on my forehead. I don't have a mirror plastered on my chest. And it's no different than when we see people doing things that we know we don't want to do. Plenty of us had parents and was like, damn, when I have children, I'm not going to treat them like that. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that if I have children. And you know what? We did a much better job as far as parenting and not taking those steps or doing those things that we saw that we didn't want done to us, but we had to go through it, and we took that lesson and we made sure we countered it with the next generation. I didn't want to run it up too long, though. You gotta grow comfortable in your space, in your vessel. This is your vessel. We only got one vessel. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we should be constantly working on it. Yes, we gotta chase a dollar, but the dollar doesn't go with us onto our next journey. The dollar doesn't travel us onto our next journey. So you got to be able to put your health in front of the dollar bill. You have to be able to put your connection with source in front of the dollar bill. I never once said forget the dollar bill. I'm not one of them people that make you read in between the lines. I pick and choose the words that I use very wisely, and I choose and use these words for a purpose. You don't have to read in between the lines over here. Tapping everything down below in the description. Peace and love to the kings and queens.